started as a family interest in transportation has resulted in the Abel Walker Museum in Burnaby. Good evening and welcome to Red's Classic Theater. This museum was the creation of Norm Ralston, president of the company and inventor of this very popular wheeled walker, popular with the disabled and the elderly. And it's a fascinating exhibit. We'll look at more a little later on. Our movie this week is The Road to Hong Kong, the seventh and last of the road pictures featuring Bob Hope and Bing Crosby. Joan Collins replaced Dorothy Lamour in the female lead, a move that caused problems for the producers. When Lamour found out that she'd been offered only a cameo appearance, she decided to pass on the picture. And then she discovered that United Artists didn't want the movie at all if she wasn't in it. So with the producers frantic, Dorothy Lamour finally relented, but she made them pay dearly. Now here's Act One of The Road to Hong Kong. We're at the Abel Walker Museum in Burnaby, where there's a fascinating display of artifacts from across the country. In many ways, the museum is a salute to seniors, the pioneers who settled North America. A major portion of the museum is given over to a large diorama depicting our native wildlife. And then it's on to the hardware. One of the first things you'll see is a collection of old gasoline pumps. And this brass plaque commemorating the first service station in Canada, owned by Norm Ralston's great-uncle. Following the gas pumps, a collection of wagons and vintage cars recalling a simpler time. This rare 1908 Ford is called a Model S, and it's one of only 16 known to be in existence. And over here, we have a 1917 Ford Depot Hack. This is the forerunner of the modern-day taxi cab. We'll be back with more from the Abel Walker Museum in Burnaby right after these messages. The number and variety of exhibits here at the Abel Walker Museum is astounding. One entire area is devoted to household appliances, tools, and machinery from decades past. And bringing the collection up to date is this amphibious aircraft donated by a family friend on Vancouver Island. And one of the nicest features about the Abel Walker Museum is the admission price. There isn't one. Tours are available Monday through Friday from 9:30 in the morning till 4 p.m. and Saturday from 9 in the morning till 12 noon. The museum is located at 2350 Beta Avenue in Burnaby. For information, call 299-3444. Now let's return to Bing Crosby and Bob Hope in The Road to Hong Kong. As you travel the road to Hong Kong with Hope and Crosby, we're exploring the Abel Walker Museum in Burnaby this week on Red's Classic Theater. During the making of tonight's movie, a funny thing happened to Bob Hope at the conclusion of shooting on the movie set one day. He had just played a harem scene where some girls had painted his fingernails and toenails with red polish. Well, as soon as the director yelled cut, he and Crosby ran off to the nearest golf course to take in a few holes. At the clubhouse, Bob Hope was taking off his socks and exposing the red toenails when in walked two proper English gentlemen. Well, they both stared down in disbelief at the red toenails and then over to Bing Crosby. Well, Crosby just shrugged as if he didn't believe it either. Finally, Bob Hope realized he was being scrutinized by the two English gentlemen. One of them turned to Bing Crosby and said, "Is your friend with the ballet?" Bob Hope was totally embarrassed, quickly put on his golf shoes and left the clubhouse. Crosby recalled that this is one of the few times you could ever remember Bob Hope being at a loss for words. Now let's return to The Road to Hong Kong. Well, it's time to look at our mailbag, brought to you by 24-Hour Video, as I sit in an Abel Walker invented by Norm Ralston. Letters this week from Fred and Mary Wilmore of Sydney, Alice Silva of Richmond, thank you, and Mary, Pearl, Dorothy, Rosella, and Jean, who are all sisters, thank you. G.C. Harper of Surrey, thank you for your letter. And the winner this week of a classic movie on video cassette from 24-Hour Video is Roy Barnett of North Van. And we're going to send you John Wayne's The Searchers. By the way, if you have a suggestion for a movie or a location, please drop me a note. Red Robinson, Television 12 in Vancouver. That's Red Robinson, Television 12 in Vancouver. Coming up next week, Charlton Heston and the cast of thousands in Cecil B. DeMille's The Ten Commandments at a special time, 8 p.m. Right now, let's return to Bob Hope and Joan Collins in The Road to Hong Kong. Hope you're enjoying our presentation of The Road to Hong Kong on Red's Classic Theater. During production of tonight's movie, Bing Crosby's foul moods and incessant pipe smoking created a rift between himself and Joan Collins. While she always found Bob Hope charming and down to earth, Crosby appeared grumpy and vague to her. Collins felt he looked like an old man acting very young, or like a young man who looked old. She also claimed that Bing annoyed the crew with his constant habit of spitting pipe juice around the set. Worst of all, she said, were the love scenes between them, with his breath sour from pipe tobacco and Bing not inclined to use mouthwash beforehand. Collins wondered how anyone could think that an actress's life was glamorous. And now back to Bing Crosby and Joan Collins in The Road to Hong Kong. From the Abel Walker Museum in Burnaby, time for our weekly movie trivia quiz. Other than acting as a narrator in That's Entertainment in 1974, Bing Crosby appeared in only 2 motion pictures after The Road to Hong Kong. Can you name them? We'll be back with the answer in just a moment. Here's the answer to our movie trivia quiz. Bing Crosby appeared in only 2 motion pictures after The Road to Hong Kong. They were Robin and the Seven Hoods with Frank Sinatra in 1964 and the remake of Stagecoach in 1966. Now let's return to The Road to Hong Kong. Well, that concludes this week's edition of Red's Classic Theater. Hope you enjoyed The Road to Hong Kong with Bob Hope, Bing Crosby, and Joan Collins. Be sure to join us next Sunday night at the special time, 8 p.m., for The 10 Commandments starring Charlton Heston. In the meantime, if you have a suggestion for a movie or a location, drop me a note. Red Robinson, Television 12 in Vancouver. I answer each and every letter. And a special thanks to Norm Ralston and the Abel Walker Museum here in Burnaby for hosting our show this week. Pay them a visit Monday through Friday from 9:30 till 4, Saturdays from 9 to noon. Or you can phone them at 299-3444 for more information. On behalf of Rick Reed, Steve Carey, and myself, we wish each and every one of you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Join us next week for the 10 Commandments. Until then, thanks for being with us. Good night, everybody.